This story is from Scotland, and it is a variant of the Rumpelstiltskin story. In some ways it's a very simplified version. It's called Wuppity Stoorie. Once, in Old Lang Syne, the good wife of Kittle Rumpet waited for her good husband to come home from the fair. But as long as she waited, he never did come, and nobody ever knew what exactly had befallen him. Life was hard for the good wife of Kittle Rumpet. Hard and poor, and everybody felt very, very sorry for her, but nobody helped. Still, she had her heart's joy in the form of a babe in her arms, and she had hope too. There was a sow, a farrow sow, in the sty by the side of the small house, and soon she knew that litter would save them and get them through another year. You can imagine the stone to her heart it was when she went out to the sty to feed the pig. It swilled that day, and she saw the sow lying on its side, grunting, groaning, its trotters curled up, each breath a labour. And now she cried. She clutched her bairn to her heart, and she cried and cried, more than ever she did at the loss of her own good man. She went to the front of her house, where there was an old knockenstein, worn smooth from countless hours of grinding work. Now not so much as a grain of wheat lay upon it. It was cold, it was empty, and there she sat. And she cried, and she greeted, and she greeted, and she cried. She cried so hard, she didn't see the woman, slight of build, dressed all in green, bar the black velvet hood and the small fur pointed cap she wore as she came from the woods towards the house. She didn't see her until the woman was almost upon her, and she realised that she was a great lady, and she tried to curtsy, but such was her state the words would scarcely come. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. My good man, I know all about your good man," said the woman all in green. "I and myself, my wee grumpy in the stove. I know all about your pig," said the woman all in green. "I've no use for pipers' tales and fiddlers' stories. I know about your man. I know about your pig. What I don't know is what you'd be willing to pay if I were to cure your pig for you." "Oh, anything, said the good wife of Kittle Rumpet. "I'd give you anything at all. Please, if you can do this service, please, I beg you. "Well, let's wet thumbs upon the bargain, and the deal will be struck." And so they wet their thumbs and pressed them together. The deal was struck, and the woman all in green went round the side of the house to the stall, where the pig was lying still, closer to death than ever it had been. The woman started to murmur and mutter as she pulled a small glass bottle from her pouch, and it sounded to the good wife like she was saying, "Pitter, patter, holy water, pitter, patter, holy water," as she daubed the snout of the pig. "Pitter, patter, holy water, pitter, patter, holy water," as she daubed its two pointed ears. "Pitter, patter, holy water, pitter, patter, holy water," as she daubed the curly tail. The woman took 3 steps back and said, "Right, Grumpy, up you get." Well, the pig got up, started shuffling about the sty as if nothing had ever been wrong. "Oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, said the good wife, and she bent down to kiss the hem of the dress of this woman all in green. Thank you. "There's no use for any of that," said the woman. "We've to come to the matter of payment now. It seems to me I've done you a small but vital service, and in return I shall take something small but vital from you. The bairn you have, the laddie bairn in your arms, I shall take that." And the woman knew all at once exactly what she was dealing with whom she had struck a bargain. She begged that fairy woman, please, anything, you've got to come into my house and I'll show you, come away in and you can take anything you like, anything, please, would not be stirred. She simply said, "In 3 days I'll come back. Under the laws by which I abide, in 3 days I'll come back and I'll take your bairn. Unless you know in that time my true name, I'll see you then to take what's mine." Well, the woman, where before she cried, she sat upon that stone and she clutched at her child and she wailed in her woe. That first day, she lay in her bed and she stroked the cheek of that little baby. She couldn't leave the house. The second day, she tried to take it around to say words that she might never get to say again. "Here's a ladybird. There's a ladybird. That's what that is. Oh, look, there's a corby in the tree. There's a few of them. 1 for Sora, 2 for Joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy." Then the words left her and she walked from her house down the path to the woods, and she walked weeping through the forest. She didn't know how long she walked until she came to a clearing. The old quarry it was, and she peered out from behind a tree because she heard a strange sound. There, at the base of the quarry near a cool, clear stream, the woman, all in green, sat. The woman, all in green, was at her spinning. She sat at her flax wheel spinning, and the wheel spun backwards. And as she sat at her widdershins work, the woman sang. "Little kens that dame a team that Wuppity Stoorie is my name. Little kens that dame a team that Wuppity Stoorie is my name. Wuppity Stoorie, Wuppity Stoorie, Wuppity Stoorie. Wuppity Stoorie, Wuppity Stoorie, Wuppity Stoorie." The woman clutched her babe in silence, not quite sure of what she was saying, but the woman worked on. "Never kens that dame a team that Wuppity Stoorie is my name. Never kens that dame a team that Wuppity Stoorie is my name. Wuppity Stoorie, Wuppity Stoorie, Wuppity Stoorie. Wuppity Stoorie, Wuppity Stoorie, Wuppity Stoorie." She held her child in her arms and she backed slowly away from the clearing, hoping that the babe would stay asleep. She crept through that forest all the way back home as the sounds disappeared. "Never kens that dame a team that Wuppity Stoorie is my name." And so on the 3rd day, the good wife of Kittle Rumpet put her babe in a basket and hid it behind the knockenstein, upon which she now sat. She mucked up her hair, and she put upon her face a woe-filled expression, and the woman all in green came up the hill, and the good wife of Kittle Rumpet had a little joke with her. "Oh, please," she said, "please take anything. Take the pig, take my grumpy, you can have her." "No, I've not come here for pig meat." "Please, please, take me instead. Just leave my bairn alone." "No, what good are you? An old body like yours will do me no good." "Please," she said, "I know I'm not worthy. I know I'm not much. I'm not worth so much as to be able to tie the very shoelaces of the great Wuppity Stoorie." The woman all in green leapt into the air and landed, slamming her foot upon the earth. She shrieked as she went back down the hill and disappeared into the woods. And the good wife of Kittle Rumpet picked up her bairn and sang that child to sleep. "Now kens the dame a team that Wuppity Stoorie was her name. Now this kens the dame a team that Wuppity Stoorie was her name. Wuppity Stoorie, Wuppity Stoorie, Wuppity Stoorie."
That's one of the ideas in these puppet tales, that to name this to have power over it.
Sorry, mate. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, you've been going on and on and on about naming and meaning, and somehow the Greeks got involved. How did that happen? How did that happen? I don't know. But I think I
ladies and gents, I think we're missing a very important aspect of this story. You mentioned it yourself, Joe, in passing, Mr. of the Lake. You mentioned it in passing, and that is that nobody else has a name in this story. You noticed, these guys all noticed, but then you skipped on. The only person with a name in the whole story, it's me! It's me! And what have I been hearing about? Undercurrents and what's your subconscious and the water and Poseidon and, my goodness, Pangreal? No, Rumpelstiltskin! The people want to know! Crikey! And when you think about the story from the right perspective, right, that's my perspective, title character, I really think that you've been missing the point, Joe. I'm sorry, but you've been missing the point. This is a story of a poor little forest-dwelling man who was hard done by in a bargain. I mean, really, there I was, wandering about the forest as was my wont, and I hear a sound from far away. It's there in the castle. I leap up to the window and plip. Excuse me, I've got some beard mouth issues. I leap up, and there's the young lady crying. I go, oh, what's this, carry on? What's this, carry on? You need a hand, love. And then she offers me, what does she offer me? A necklace. I mean, I ask you, a necklace. I mean, I can spin straw into gold. I was looking at the lady's socks. Can you imagine my socks? Can you imagine what kind of comfort levels I get with gold socks? I would have appreciated the socks, but she offered me the necklace and I didn't want to turn it down. It seemed very important to her. So, all righto, we'll have that then. And I come back the next day, carrying on a storm again, loping up into the window, and there she is, and this time it's a ring. And not a hanky. No, not a hanky. Again, I asked you, straw into gold. Hankies? I mean, it's just my poor nose. If I've got a cold, it's not pretty in the forest. A bloody ring. All right, righto, bloody ring. Fair enough. There you go. And really, you've missed the plot holes, Joe. You've missed the plot holes. I mean, really, that is significant, don't you think? It's significant that, here I am, the person who's got all the gold he could possibly want. No hankies, no socks, but gold, sure. Yeah. So I come back, it's lonely in the forest, Joe. It's lonely. I'm there. And they're all by myself. I know. Spare a thought for the little guy. There's nobody else does. Apparently, people with anger issues are not fun to live with in the forest. Not the point. No. Sorry. I've got to keep myself together. I've been worrying about the endings. You've been talking about this. That's not the only variance of the ending of my story, is it? We've got the, smashing your foot into the ground and ending up deep in the earth. There's one. Maybe that's how I got to Australia, Yeah. And then, of course, there's the split in two version. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about that at all. No. So anyway, helping the lady, and I'm lonely. I think, I've put up with the bloody necklace, and I'm saying thank you very much for the nice ring and all. But what I really could use is some company, and maybe company that I can train up so that this can tolerate my own peculiar quirks and ways. We've all got them. Don't you lie. We've all got them. Peculiar quirks, peculiar ways. We're all there. And so I think, yeah, great, righto. I'll have your child. And she's like, sure. She's not very bright. In fact, the whole bunch of them, not very bright. I mean, the miller in the first place. You'd think he'd be a bit brighter than that, don't you? He's bargaining, he's chatting up with the king and you think when the king said, righto, let's have her in the castle, she can show me what she's got. Maybe then is your time, as the miller, maybe then is your time to say, well, you know what, I've had a little bit of ale, your majesty. I might have been talking in my cups and maybe no. Maybe it was more a figuratively spinning of gold. You see, there's a layer. He could have done that, figuratively spinning gold, straw into gold, because she could find the meaning of things. Maybe she had... No. He didn't let the goose out of the bag there. No. He just kept the lies, the deceit, and then the king. What's she doing with this man? She marries him in the end, you know that, right? She marries him. And he's off. issues are. I never threatened to kill anybody. Crikey. Crikey. So anyway, the bargain is struck. Fair and square. All was all clear. There was no ambiguity. And then who's the bad guy? Who is the bad guy when he comes around to collect? Who? Hey, that's right, Les. I know you're thinking it. Oh, little tubby, stumpy fat man.